Hello and welcome back to Creative Pet Keeping. Today we are going to continue the betta community tank mini series, and we will focus mainly on feeding your betta in a community tank setting. Now, there are some pros and cons to feeding your betta in a community tank setting, and one of the cons is that he or she can be out competed for food if you have very aggressive and excited feeders, or potentially your betta can overeat if you provide your fish with food that you leave in the tank for a longer time that other fish would normally nibble on. Bettas are little piggies, they're prone to overeating, so I'm going to show you one method that works really well for me. So the easiest food in my opinion to feed is frozen thawed food. In this case we have some brine shrimp that I thawed, and I'll be feeding my entire fish room, so this is quite a bit of brine shrimp. And I like to use these little pipettes to slowly add small amounts here or there so that he can slowly pick at these pieces. I don't have to worry about overfeeding him too much because this is very water rich food, so it's not food that's gonna cause him to become constipated. And because bettas are generally pretty slow eaters, I can release these small amounts of food in front of him, and the other fish that are his tank mates will be able to catch the food as well all around him. But this also gives him more time. If I wanted to squirt all the food in a big amount all around him, what would happen is all of the fish would get excited and they would eat all of the food, and he would not really have a chance to grab his own pieces. So by doing a couple at a time and just selectively feeding him, I am able to ensure that he not only gets the food that he needs, but also prevent him from overeating, which bettas are very notorious for. They will keep eating and eating and eating and expanding their stomach, and to a certain extent it's okay depending on the type of food you feed, but they will continue to do so until they're really like exploding at the rims, and that's not really healthy, especially if you're feeding pellets and dry food. So here I'm going to demonstrate the difference between small amounts of foods being released and a large amount of food being released. So here I very quickly release a lot, and as you can see, it triggers a feeding frenzy amongst the tetras, and this is good for them, but you can see he doesn't like that, so he'll swim away. So by depositing the food slowly, I am able to ensure that he gets all his food. For comparison, I'm also going to show you how I feed my female sibling bettas in the sibling sorority. In this case, I will definitely feed a lot more at the same time, and this is because I want to ensure that all of the bettas, the large ones as well as the small runty ones, have an equal chance to get as much food as possible. But this will also help ensure that no one particular betta has a chance to overfeed. The way you feed your fish and the feeding style will change based on the type of fish you have, the combination of the fish you have, and the type of food that you are using, because you want to make sure you are feeding the species appropriate diet. So for example, for bettas who are carnivorous fish, you are not going to want to feed a herbivore diet, for example, that is very vegetable based, because that is not something that they're really going to benefit from. Of course, if you are in a community tank setup, you can mix a couple different diets to make sure that you are fulfilling all the different fish's biological needs. Now, keep in mind, there is no one perfect way to feed your aquarium, so the best piece of advice I can give you is observe, make changes and adjustments, and always try to do things that will fit your particular combination of fish, whether you have one single fish or multiple fish in a community setup. No matter what happens, I think you will do great, and thank you for taking the time to watch my video. All the fish that you see in this video were provided by Flip Aquatics, our channel sponsor, and thank you for the generous support of my lovely Patreon supporters for helping me create these videos.